How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Fellowship Games. Dakota here, and today we're going to be diving through the Strixhaven previews from yesterday, March 30th, and today, March 31st. We covered all the previous spoilers and the Mythic archives yesterday. If you're watching this on YouTube later, those are up on the channel. Real quick before we get in here, just want to remind everybody that we do have a website, fellowshipgames.ca. On our homepage, you can get to know us, links to our Discord and all that good stuff. And we do magic articles, deck guides, reviews. I did an in-depth analysis for some of the Mythic archives, like 4 or 5 of the most broken ones for historic. And then we have Pokemon Go content, and then you can access all of our YouTube content as well. But let's get straight into the previews. So I'll start from the bottom here. We have Combat Professor, 3 and a white, 2/3 flyer, just a common bird cleric. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains vigilance until end of turn. Obviously not a constructed card, but very good and limited. Just a 4-mana flyer is pretty good enough. 3 toughness will dodge a lot of 2 power, 2 damage removal. And then being able to pump a thing and give it vigilance so that it can play defense on offense is pretty crazy. And it could target itself. So it could be a 3/3 flying vigilance, which is like a mini Sarah Angel. We're just gonna close this door real quick. But moving on, we got Enigma Opus. 6 and is it for an instant. It deals 4 damage. Divide as you choose among any number of target creature. Any targets. Tap 2 target permanents. Create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Draw 2 cards. It also gets itself in the graveyard. You can just pay 2 is it hybrid. And you get to create a treasure, so it can actually ramp you to potential later copies. If we can pull things out of the graveyard, this is and play them on the cheap, this is a pretty decent thing to cast. Like the Mythic Masteries decks that I think are going to be possible in Historic, thanks to the Mythic Archives, could use this. It gets itself into the graveyard, and then so you can play. You can just play this on turn 3 with Mythic's Mastery, right? You basically cycle this for a token, a treasure token, and then on turn 3 you play your land, and then you tap 4 and you get to use Mythic's Mastery and do this on turn 3. Turn 3 dealing 4 damage to either whatever they have on the board. That against a lot of aggro curves, that can actually take out 2 creatures. Throw 4 damage to their face even. Tap 2 of their lands. You can basically just time walk them, right? This is your turn 3. If you're on the play, you're tapping down their 2 lands, so they're untapping with no lands on turn 3. That's okay. This could potentially make the Mythic's Mastery deck very good. And then you're also drawing 2 cards and putting a 4/4. I like this. And it puts itself into the graveyard and ramps you that extra turn with Mythic's Mastery. Oh, yeah. Oh, I think we're brewing around this in Historic. Straight up. That's huge. That's actually huge. This card's actually very impressive. Okay, now we got a card we need to translate. Grinning Ignis. 2 and a red elemental. You can pay red, return it to its owner's hand, add colorless red. Activate this ability only time you can cast a sorcery. Sure. I don't know. This kind of reminds me of that one red card from M15. It was just some uncommon or whatever, where it could sacrifice itself for 2 colorless mana. Something like that. Maybe Eldrazi could use this in Pioneer or something, because that archetype's kind of desperate, but nothing too impressive there. Okay, now we got Elemental Summoning. 3, and then 2 is it hybrid sorcery lesson, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Yeah, so just some limited fodder. Yeah, this is like fine and limited, I guess. Like especially this will make a body and trigger Magecraft, and then you could possibly recast it later from your graveyard with like some other cards. But yeah, a good limited card. Okay. Expression of Repetition. Blue, red, sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, one at the bottom of your library, then exile the rest. Until end of turn, you may play the exile card. This is actually pretty interesting. So, yeah, you basically do like a strategic planning. Like, you get to, yeah, sorcery speed, 2 mana. Look at the top 3 cards of the library. You can put one of them into your hand, so you're straight up drawing one of them. One at the bottom, so the worst one. And then the middle of the roads one, or a card you want to cast right away, you put into exile. So until end of turn, you may play the exiled card. So yeah, I think this is totally reasonable in like an Spellslinger deck. Like, yeah, I can imagine like turn 3, you can like turn 2 you play your Sprite Dragon, turn 3 you play this, you take like your best card, like the actual best card, you put it into your hand. If it's like an extra land you don't need or something like expensive that you can't cast right away, put it at the bottom, and then put like a cantrip or a shock, like a one mana thing, like a crash through into exile, and then play that. And then you got two triggers off of your Sprite Dragon, and you're getting there. I like this. I think this could see play in like Is It Sprite Dragon decks. I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so now we got the Is It card in this rare cycle. I'm really excited for these for Devotion decks, specifically the black ones, the Orzhov ones and the Golgari ones. But yeah, this isn't. Yeah, 4 hybrid mana. Is It Orc Wizard? I love seeing orcs get printed. Let's go. Magecraft, it's a 4/4, and then Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, target a creature you control. Until end of turn, it has. If this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. And whenever you exile this creature, create a 4/4 elemental creature token. Sure. Like, yeah. I guess like flickering like tiny creatures is like pretty crazy. You like blink some like young pyromancer tokens or just whatever tokens, and then you turn them into 4/4s. I don't know what to make of this card. I don't know where it's you play. Like, I don't see what this is doing. Like the Sprite Dragon Is Its deck. Is there like an Is Its token deck that can take advantage of this? Maybe, but I don't know. Definitely an interesting card, but I don't know what to make of it exactly. Right. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna be looking at a lot of the Is It colored cards, and then the Simic ones at the later half of this video. So we got Creative Outburst. 3. Okay, this thing's pretty expensive. 3. Double blue, double red, instinct. It deals 5 damage to any target. That's actually some pretty serious burn. 7 mana, but pretty serious burn. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Look at the top 5 cards. Put one of them into your hand. That's pretty crazy. And then same thing. You can discard it. You can discard it to create a token. So again, this is another thing you can use with Mythic's Mastery in Historic. This is not as good as the Mythic, but this is still pretty good. Dealing 5 damage to anything. 5 damage is a lot. It will kill most things, and then being able to do like a mini dig through time, about 5 cards and only 1 goes to your hand, is still pretty crazy value, especially if you can do this on turn 4. Like, I think the Mythic one is obviously way better. Like, time walking your opponent by tapping their only 2 lands and like getting a threat and drawing 2 cards is way better. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. We'll have to see if there's a lot of efficient ways of casting things from your graveyard, because these cards that put themselves into the graveyard and give you mana are pretty big. Okay, solve the equation. 1 blue sorcery. Search your library for an instant sorcery card. Reveal it. Put it into your hand. And then shuffle your library. I think 3's too three's too slow for like constructed. Like, I don't know, there might be some combo decks that could use this because we don't have like 3 mana is like pretty reasonable for tutors. Like, there's obviously a very good budget for commander. Like, if you can't afford literal like 1 and 2 mana like mythic and rare tutors, then you can put this in your deck and it'll do the job just a turn slower. But yeah, for constructed, maybe they see play in some like fringe like budget casual like combo decks, but I don't think it's gonna be making like huge waves in any format. I don't know why we just got sent back to the bottom here. Yeah, I don't know what you're doing, Mythic Spoiler. Okay, we're back. Okay, Explosive Welcome. 7 red, instant. Explosive Welcome deals 5 damage to any target and 3 damage to any other target. Add 3 mana. So, if you can cast this on the cheap, this is like pretty interesting. You can't deal like 8 damage to somebody's face with this because it has to be 5 damage to one target and then 3 damage to another target. But yeah, you can like blow up their creature 5 to their face, or just blow up 2 things, and then yeah, it rituals itself. So it really costs like, oh my god, 8 mana is still a lot. It really only costs like 5 mana, but if you can get this on the cheap, this could be pretty good. Like, I don't know, is this gonna be able to help Storm like in Historic? Like, because the problem with Storm, they have like the good Storm cards, but they don't have, and they have like Electromancer and Brawl to reduce things, but they don't have like the craziest. They have good cantrips, but they don't have like rituals. They don't have like a Manamorphose and stuff like that, and they don't have like a big like explosive card to really like help them generate like a crap ton of cards. So like, I don't know, if you can get this to like, I don't know, but I think like, what's reasonable, like 4 mana, getting this to 4 mana. So yeah, maybe like if you get this to 4 mana, it might be doing some things, but 8 mana is a lot. I'm gonna be hesitant to say that it's gonna be doing like crazy things. Okay, we have Make Your Mark. Boros hybrid mana, instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When that creature dies this turn, create a 3/2 red and white spirit token. I think this is really, I really like these limited cards. When I play sealed, if I don't have any like very good bombs, I like to be aggressive when I play limited, and I really like these kind of cards. Like, if you can use this to allow your 3-drop to trade with their 4-drop, but then you get a 3/2 at the end of it. I really like these sort of deals. Yeah, I like these sort of pump spells in limited. They're not like crazy. You only want like 1 in your deck, but they're really good when they work. And yeah, I like them. But yeah, just a limited card. Mage Hunter. So we got a 3/4 horror creature token for 3 and a black. Whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant sorcery spell, they lose 1 life. So basically just an anti-Magecraft card. I can see this being a good archetype in limited. Like, I don't know, in your black deck, like this could be a sideboard card against like Sprite Dragon decks. Like, 4 toughness is a lot. It dodges a lot of the removal, and yeah, you're paying them 1 life for like every time they want to go off with their Sprite Dragon. I will say the fact that this doesn't drain, like, gives you 1 life to help you stabilize, doesn't really matter. Like, sure, if you don't really have an answer for the Sprite Dragon, they're just gonna like ping themselves down, but their Sprite Dragon is gonna be like so massive that it kills you. So I think definitely a spicy limited card. I can see this being like a very good card in limited, especially if all the other decks are trying to Magecraft. But in constructed, I don't quite know if it'll be good enough. Okay, now we got Explore the Vast Lands. Oh, and this is on the other side of Wandering Archaic. Sure. So yeah, the creature side, we get a 5 colorless 4/4 avatar. Whenever an opponent casts an instant sorcerer spell, they may pay 2. If they don't, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the spell. Okay, this card's hilarious in Commander. This is definitely going to be a Commander card. Yeah, this is like, the same annoyance as like Rhystic Studies. Like every time they cast an instant or sorcery spell, you get to be that player to be like, are you gonna pay the 2? And then if they don't, you just get the thing. So yeah, if your opponent's trying to interact with you, if they don't pay an additional 2, you get to interact with them. If they're trying to draw a bunch of cards, if they don't pay the 2, you're gonna draw a bunch of cards. So yeah, I really like this. Yeah, I really like this card for Commander. And then yeah, we have a sorcery, 3-mana sorcery on the other side. Each player looks at the top 5 cards of their library. So yeah, this is a card for EDH. Yeah, everybody looks at the top 5 cards of the library, reveals a land card, and or an instant sorcery card from among them, then puts the cards they revealed this way into their hand and the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order each player gains for life. So this is like a nice group hug effect, you know what I mean? Like, if you can play this and then maybe reanimate the creature side, you know, you can play this and like everybody's feeling pretty good. You know, you all put 2 cards potentially. You know, you got an instant sorcery spell. Everybody got a land. Everybody gained 3 life. Everybody's feeling like pretty good. And then yeah, you like bring back the Wanderer later, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna start taxing you fools. Like, yeah, do I get your spells or are you gonna pay the 2? So yeah, this is definitely a very good card for Commander, especially because it's colorless. I would expect us to see a lot of play, especially if people are worried about like Spellslinger decks. And yeah, we got pushed back to the bottom for some reason. Okay. Okay, Stonebinder's Familiar. 1 white. Spirit Dog. It's a 1/1. This is a spirit, so good sign. This is a dog also. People still want to be trying to make dog decks work. And yeah, whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile during your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Stonebinder's Familiar. This ability only triggers once each turn. This card would be busted if it didn't trigger only once a turn. There's plenty of ways to exile somebody's whole graveyard. Like in Standard, you can Soul Guide's Lantern, and then let's say, they have like 5 or 6 cards in the library. You Soul Guide's Lantern. If this could trigger more than once, then yeah, you'd get like 6 counters on your 1/1. Freaking, have you heard of Rest in Peace in like Modern? Like exile, because yeah, it's whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile during your turn. So this could be from your opponent's graveyard. This could be from your graveyard. So you could like drop a Rest in Peace, exile all the graveyards, make this thing huge. But no, they balanced it. It only gets to trigger once each turn. So Cling to Dust would be this thing's like best friend, because yeah, it would like help trigger each turn. But this also works for flickering. The cards do get put into exile, so yeah, you could like flicker a thing and yeah, grow your dog, and then the thing comes back. So as far as like where does this fit, I don't think this fits in my mono white weenie. I think it's like kind of build around the kind of gimmicky. Definitely if a flicker deck pops up, and then incidentally good with graveyard hate, but like only a little bit. So I think a flicker deck is where this doggy would shine. Okay, now we got Galazeth Prismari. So yeah, we got the Big Daddy. Oh, is this? Yeah, Galazeth Prismari. Yeah, we got the Big Daddy. Is it Dragon? The Prismari Dragon. Yeah, so 4 mana for 3/4 legendary Elder Dragon. 2 is it. When it enters the battlefield, create a treasure token. Very nice. Treasure's getting like a lot of support. Treasure might be like an actual like good payoff in Standard. I wouldn't be surprised if it got to that point. And then yeah, artifacts you control have tap, add a mana of any color. Use this mana only to cast instant and sorcery spells. Okay, so the fact that they put a restriction on this is very good. But all these very big, expensive, is it instants and sorceries like the first 2 we looked at? They could have a home in Standard. Like we have plenty of cheap ways to make treasure. And then yeah, this makes it so that they essentially tap for 2. Like you can tap them continuously. You can leave them as straight permanent mana rocks. They're not like a one-time cash out. And then yeah, you could like double this mana even more with Goldspan Dragon that actually curves into this. So you could actually like tap them all for red and then sacrifice them all for 2. So they're making 3 mana, and then you can actually do something like really big and explosive. So yeah, I would keep this card on your radar and token like a creature. Sorry, treasure token making cards in general, I would keep an eye on, because yeah, they're looking pretty good. Like the fact that this curves into this Goldspan Dragon is pretty nice, and like Goldspan Dragon already fits into that Is It Control shell, so you can like play this and Goldspan Dragon in like in an Is It deck, and then have some like crazy top end. You're like interacting with them, making all this treasure, attacking with your dragons a couple times, and then like boom, you like drop some like crazy Is It spell to win the game. Right? You can't use it to cast Ugin because it has to be an instant sorcery. That's actually pretty nice that they put a restriction. Nobody wants to see turboed Ugins. Nobody's about that life. Okay, now we got Tanazir Quadrix. So we got the Quadrix Dragon. 3 Simic, legendary creature, Elder Dragon, 4/4, flying, trample. When it enters the battlefield, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. That could actually be pretty relevant. Like 5 mana for 4/4 flying trample is reasonably costed, and if you have something that already has counters on it, that's actually pretty crazy. And then whenever it attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of other creatures you control become equal to Tanazir Quadrix's power and toughness on turn. So this will make your late game mana dorks valuable. They'll become 4/4s. Like +1/+1 counters. Like there are some good green cards. You could basically be like a mono green beatdown deck and then splash this to basically finish out the game. Right, a lot of the trolls enter with a bunch of +1/+1 counters on them. You got the Hydra from M21, the one that was being paired with like Conclave Mentor, and then you know what I mean. Like you can make some like very big scary creatures. So I would like to see if this sees any play in like some mid rangey like green beatdown +1/+1 counter deck. Okay, now we got another red 1-drop. We got Hall Monitor. Red 1/1 Lizard Shaman Haste. So 1-drop with Haste, that already puts off like pretty good flags. We have Fervent Champion already, but another 1-drop with Haste is not too bad. And then you could pay 1 in a red, tap it, target creature can't be blocked this turn. I think this could see play. I definitely think this could see play. I really like these like Frenzied Goblin was one of my favorite. Right, because whenever it attacks, you could like pay a red to make it so that like target creature couldn't block or something. But target creature can't block this turn. So you can just get in there for 1 early on, and then once it starts getting outclassed and you can't really attack with it anymore, then you hold back, tap down their thing that's blocking. Your Robber of the Rich from getting through and all of your other stuff, and get in there. So I can see this seeing a little bit of standard play in mono red decks for sure. I guess we can head over to Goldfish. Like, what is the competition? Like, I guess Fireblade Charger's still pretty good, and Fervent Champion, but I could definitely see Hull Monitor being like a 2 of. I could see it. I could definitely see it. Maybe running a split of these. I mean, this wears Embercleave pretty well, but I don't know. I could definitely see this team play. This is definitely a style card I would play. That much I can say. Okay, now we got multiple choice. X blue sorcery. If X is 1, scry 1, then draw a card. That's actually pretty good. Right? That's like a 2 mana opt. Okay, maybe not that good. If X is 2, you may choose a player. They return a creature they control to its owner's hand. I mean, like a sorcery unsummon for 3 is pretty dirt. Not gonna lie. If X is 3, create a blue and red elemental creature token. If X is 4 or more, do all of the above. Like, so base level, you get a bad opt. Oh, let's go, Swan. Hype in the chat. Right? In the so base level, it's a bad opt. If you do it for its second level, it's a bad unsummon or a bad Into the Royal. Because, like, Into the World can do this thing for 2 mana instant speed, and then for 4 mana it can cantrip. At 3 mana, it's just worse for both of those. And then if X is 3, you get a 4/4, so you get a 4 mana 4/4. That's bad. And if X is 5 or more, you do all these. So if you pay 5 mana sorcery speed, and you get to scry 1, draw a card, bounce a thing, create a 4/4, that's like pretty good. This is obviously like bonkers and limited. Like this is actually pretty good and limited. But in constructed, like a 5 mana 4/4 that bounces a thing and then like scries and draws a card at sorcery speed is like pretty meh. I don't think this card's definitely interesting, but I don't think it's quite good enough. It just does a bunch of things that already exist in standard, but bad at sorcery speed. So I don't think multiple choice is going to be seeing too much play. Now we have Ingenious Inspiration, 2 and a red, instant, learn, 3 damage to any target. Oh, this is a sorcery? Never mind. Bad. Yeah. We can do better. Yeah, we can straight up do better in standard right now. 3 damage to any target, like, again, if, like, the lessons would have to be insane to make you want to put this in your deck. And, like I kind of mentioned, I spoke about this in, my Mystic Archives article that, like, when I was talking about, like, Lightning Helix, traditional burn decks don't really, like, exist too much in standard, especially in standard. Because, like, since the printing of Embercleave, all these red decks have moved away from playing, like, non-creature spells and trying to overload on creatures to make Embercleave as good as possible. So, in a standard where, like, you know, you're playing, like, 1 or 2, like, haste drops and, like, getting in there, or, like, you know, yeah, sure, like, maybe this could see play, especially if the lesson you're pulling out is, like, if it's, like, very relevant, but I think 3 mana, sorcery, 3 damage, we don't know how good Learn's going to be. I don't think it's going to be doing anything. And especially with Embercleave pushing all these spell decks out of the format in mono red. Okay, now we got Maelstrom Muse. So we got a Genius Wizard. Is Genius actually a creature type? Like, that's pretty hilarious. But yeah, it's a 2/4 flyer, and it costs, 1 blue. Is it hybrid? Red. Flying, whenever it attacks, the next instant sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast, X being the power, Maelstrom Muse, as this ability is resolved. So yeah, it attacks. And then, yeah, basically in the combat step, you get 2 mana off your next instant. Yeah, I don't think this does too much, to be honest. You could, like, I can see a cute turn where, like, I don't know, you're attacking with this and, like, a Sprite Dragon, and then, like, you know, you have, like, a bunch of, like, you know, frantic inventory to get reduced to 1 mana, and, like, I don't know, then you, like, blitz them out and, like, kill them. Other than that, I don't like this too much. We've had pretty good, like, Crackling Drake, Enigma Drake. We've had other good 3 and 4 mana Is It threats. I don't think this is quite in that pantheon, and yeah, I don't think it's going to see too much play. Very good and limited, though. Don't get me wrong. Right, so we got the Prismari Campus. Again, I kind of mentioned in our first spoiler video that I could see this, these duels seeing, like, 1-of play and, like, Pauper. Just because it stalls out so much. Like, Monarch is good in those decks, and I honestly think there's, like, an opportunity for you to, like, actually use the activate ability to scribe one some amount of the time, and it doesn't really take too much away from the mana base. Maybe in the Is It decks, because they do care about snow permanence, and it's not a snow permanent, but in other decks, I think this cycle could see very, very, very little, like, decent niche play in Pauper. Okay, now we got Prismari Pledge Mage. 2/2. Sorry, 2 mana, 2 Is It mana. Orc Wizard, Defender, 3/3, Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender. Obviously not going to do anything in Standard, but in limited, it's actually pretty good. A 2 mana 3/3 is like actually a wall. Like that's gonna wall a lot of early things. And then whenever you magecraft, you can get on the beatdown. So this is like a good offensive and defensive threat in limited. And you don't have to dedicate yourself to one color. It's hybrid mana, so you can use this in a fast red deck, or you can use this in a blue slow blue deck. So yeah, I like that for limited a lot. And yeah, of course we got bound. Okay, no, sweet, awesome. We got Spectacle Mage. This is a common. I actually didn't realize this was a common when I was looking at this just now. Yeah, one and is it for a bird shaman flying instant sorcery spells you cast with mana value 5 or greater, cost 1 less to cast, and it's a 2/2. So like, yeah, I guess if you want a very janky situational Electromancer, this thing has got you. Yeah, that's it. It's just a janky Electromancer with situational discount of mana. It will help you play those big instant, like, is it spells, or the Prismari spells, but other than that, I don't think it's going to be doing too much, if I'm being honest. Okay, now I got Practical Research. 3 and is it instant, draw 4 cards. Then you may discard cards unless you discard an instant or sorcery spell. Yeah, if these like big mana like instant heavy Prismari colored decks control decks break out in standard, I can see this thing playing there. Like instant speed, especially if you have like Rowan and was it Will Frost, whatever his name is, to discount this, like if this costs 3 or 4 mana, this is insane. 3 or 4 mana instant speed, draw 4, then discard 2 unless you just discard an instant sorcery spell that you could most likely get back. I can see this thing like 1 or 2 of play in those sort of decks for sure. Yeah, this card does work. Like, yeah, these kind of cards like do see play in control decks, like if they're the best options, and I think this is a pretty good option. Okay, now we got a legendary creature. Rutha, Mercurial Artists. 1 and is it? Legendary creature, Orc Shaman. It's a 1/4. You can pay 2, return it to its owner's hand, copy target instant and sorcery spell. You may choose new copies for a spell. No. I don't think this is doing anything really. Like, 4 toughness is nice. Maybe if like I can see this being like very crazy against like aggro decks where like I don't know, you like put this in front of like like an Annex, so it's like a 3/3 4/4 Annex or whatever. You throw this in front of it, and then before damage, right, you shock, and then in response to the shock, you bounce this, get another shock, and take out like a Fervent Champion and a Robber of the Rich. That's pretty crazy. I can get on that, but I think this could also do similar things in limited, like really hold down the fort, and then later in the game you can use this to like turbo one of your like unconditional removal spells and take out their 2 best things. But other than that, unless like maybe this sees sideboard play against like aggro decks, because just the 4 toughness and then being able to duplicate like a shock for 3 mana seems pretty crazy. But other than that, not too impressive, if I'm being honest. Okay, now we got a Mythic. Yeah, I'm assuming this is the same card. We got Extus, Orrick Overlord. 1 white, black, 2/4, double strike, human warlock, magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, return target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard to your hand. That's pretty powerful. Pretty powerful. Very attractive for commander. If this is a cleric, it would have a million homes it could fit into. But yeah, whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, so you get like double reanimator. You cast a reanimator spell, reanimate an actual legendary creature, and then put a non-legendary creature back to your hand. That's pretty good. It has double strike, so it can like actually kind of like pull its weight in combat as like essentially a 4/4. Now let's look on the other side. Awaken the Blood Avatar. 6 black-red sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. So, okay, like a Westvale Abbey kind of situation. Like you're sacrificing your board full of tokens. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Create a 3/6 black and red avatar creature token with haste, and whenever this creature attacks, it deals 3 damage to each opponent. You get a 3/6 with haste, and whenever it attacks, it deals 3 damage to each creature. So my immediate thought is like some aristocrat style deck, right? Like some Rakdos-y, like sacrificing playing a bunch of tokens and then sacrificing them to play this on the cheap. So if you were to sacrifice like 4 things to this is like still only like 4 mana sorcery. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. You get a 3/6 creature token with hate. Oh my god, it doesn't even have flying. I don't think this is that good. I don't think the token's that good. I think it's like way too expensive for what it does. I can see this being fun in Commander, and then even then, I don't like this. I don't think I like this too much. I like the first half. It's pretty nice, pretty good value, but I don't think the back half is really worth it. Because like Westvale Abbey in Standard was like a house. Like you have this like crazy like unkillable demon that was just gonna win the game. That thing could still get walled by like a Goldspan Dragon or like so many other things. Not the biggest fan. Okay, now I got Defend the Campus, 3 white instant. It's just gonna be a limited card, right? Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn, or destroy target creature power 4 or greater. This is gonna be a bomb in white limited decks. Being able to anthem so that you can get the kill, or being able to kill their biggest to kill their bomb is great utility. This will either this is like very good when you're ahead, right? Because now you're finishing them off, and then very good if you're behind, because you can kill their thing, their best thing. So I like it. Okay, now we got Sinister Dominance. 3 black instant. You may pay one and a black instead of paying the spell's mana cost. If you pay 1 and a black, an opponent may draw a card. Exile target creature or planeswalker. 2 mana exile target creature or planeswalker is pretty crazy. Control could get into a point where like they don't really care about the card draw. This is obviously pretty good in Commander. Like Commander has absolutely terrifying things where it's like, this will kill me, so I need to kill it. And if they draw something else that can kill me, so be it. But regardless, this is killing me. So seeing how maybe Control is, like, maybe the card draw doesn't even matter. Like, if they're in a position where they're hosing certain decks, then, like, what are they drawing to get them out, really? So that's definitely interesting. Like, giving your opponent a card is obviously very bad, but 2 mana instant speed Hero's Downfall, a Hero's Downfall that exiles is pretty crazy. So I would keep this on my radar. This might see like fringe play, especially if the demand for exile effects is like high, right? Like if the removal doesn't really line up, or you can't really exile things, which isn't really true. Like I know Heartless Act and Eliminate don't, but like we have an Extinction Event, we have Banishing Light, we have tons of ways of exiling. So maybe in a different standard, with less good removal, this would be so good that you would have to play it. But maybe not. Maybe standard isn't a good enough place for this removal that we won't really need to rely on this. But I think decks certainly could. Okay, now we got Clever Lumamancer. One and a white for a human wizard. It's a 0/1. Whenever you cast, Magecraft. So whenever you cast or copy something, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Again, mono white weenies are gonna play this because they're not playing too many instants or sorceries. So you're not really gonna be turning this online. Like, is some like Boros like spells deck possible? maybe this is where I could see that scene play. But like, yeah, as far as standard right now, this doesn't fit anywhere. And like, I think a new archetype would have to emerge, like a Boros like aggro spell slinging deck would have to emerge. Right? Like pair this up with like cheap burn spells, like, you know, like it could do a Monastery Mentor impersonation, Monastery Mentor, Swift Spirit impersonation, but yeah, I think a new archetype would have to emerge for this to see play. Definitely a good card. Definitely a good card. It just, yeah, and also you have to look at the downside. It's a 0/1, so it's like freaking absolutely trash on defense. So that is something else to keep in mind. Okay, now we got Bad Eye. Yeah, 1 black for a bat, 1/1 flyer, and when it dies, learn. So, mono black aggro decks could definitely use this, like, right? Yeah, just a 1/1 that it's gonna get in the red zone on the next turn. It's gonna start beating down, and then again, if like you have some sacrifice synergies, so you can like you're kind of like tutoring for things in your graveyard with it. Reanimate it with Luris, learn more, like yeah, get more lessons. Yeah, maybe this could see play. Again, it depends on how good the lessons. I haven't seen any like really good lessons that make me go like this. Like yeah, I could put Bad Eye and then like sacrifice it, learn, play it again with Luris next turn, sacrifice it to Woe Strider, learn again. Like yeah, I haven't seen too many things for that. But yeah, this is definitely something to keep your eye on. It could go up in stock if yeah these lesson cards are actually worth learning. Okay, now we got Enormous Disappointment. Yeah, Wizards knows all about that. Am I right? 3 black instant. Each player loses 2 life. You draw 2 cards. So, each player loses 2 life. Oh, and draws. Oh, get out of here. No, screw off. If you could do this to yourself, that'd be nice. But I don't see any situation where you're an aggro deck and you want to give your opponent more. Like, sure, you can like shock them with this, like make them lose 2 life and die if they're at 2 life. But I don't see why an aggro deck would want to, gain 2, like give them more cards. And I don't see why a control deck would want to give people more cards. I will say this is pretty nice for like the discard decks with like the Black God that wants to make people discard cards. Like this does put cards in their hand. Like if you could play this, you draw 2 cards and then you can immediately like make them discard their cards, and then you're essentially drawing 4 cards because you're getting their 2 cards. Like that's the only deck I could see, but people have been trying to make that deck work since it got spoiled, and it's a little dookies. So yeah. I don't like this card. I don't think it's gonna really do anything. Okay, now we got Beloved Poet, 1 black, 2/1 human warlock. Whenever it attacks, you may pay 2 life. If you do, it gets flying till end of turn. Very good and limited. And a pretty decent threat in constructed. Like a 2/1 flyer is like I don't know. You're probably playing other things. Yeah, maybe not. I don't think this. This is definitely interesting, but I don't think it quite meets the standards of constructed at the moment. Okay, another big Prismari color spell. Culmination of Studies. X blue red sorcery. Exile the top X card of your library. For each land card exiled this way, create a treasure token. For each blue card exiled this way, draw a card. For each red card this way, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. So yeah, if this is an instant, this would be busted. But yeah, being able to potentially draw, right? You exile top 5 cards of the library. So yeah, you're not getting. So you're exiling the top X. So if like X is 5, you're not getting 5 cards. You're getting 5 triggers spread across different cards. So yeah, right. You could potentially get like, a couple lands. So you get a couple treasure. For each blue card, you could draw a couple cards, and then for each red card, it deals damage. I think this is a little too all over the place. I think you'd want a consistent version of this card that could either do like either 2 of these things consistently or 1 of each of these things consistently. Yeah, right. I think it's just a little too situational. You want to draw cards, but then you're like getting a bunch of treasure, but you have nothing in your hand to use it with, or you're like. Right, like I don't see how like 5 mana and then like okay, let's say you like get 2 lands and like 2 red cards, it's like, I guess with hybrid cards, you get to do multiple of these things, I guess, right? Like if you put a bunch of Prismari colored cards in your deck, like if you hit like Sprite Dragon and then like, let's say another copy this and like, you know, whatever, then maybe you're doing like, you're getting treasure and you're drawing cards and dealing damage. So maybe depending on the way you build your deck, this could work, but no. And this also looks like they're fighting against the demon, right? That's what it looks like. The demon from the bad Rakdos card that I didn't like. Oh, what's up, Bubbles? Got a new phone? Congratulations. Just going through some Magic spoilers real quick. So we got Resculpt. Instant for 1 and a blue. Exile target creature. Artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental. Like, sure, turning their Lovestruck Beast into a 4/4 is fine. Like, obviously, I'd rather their Elder Gargaroth be a 4/4, a vanilla 4/4, than an Elder Gargaroth. Exiling an enchantment's huge. Like, maybe this could see niche play in some niche situations, like being able to, yes, exile a resolved Embercleave is actually a pretty big game. You can do this on your own thing, so like you could exile, like, I don't know, in a blue deck, I don't know, like a Ruin Crab, and then like make it into a 4/4 and ambush something. But maybe, like, I don't know, I think it's like, how big is the artifact removal in blue when they could just easily splash red and get it? So yeah, interesting, but I don't think likely to see play. Okay, we got Sudden Breakthrough. 1 in a red instant, target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strength on turn. Create a treasure. So another cheap way to make a treasure, but a pretty mediocre pump spell. Obviously gonna be good in limited. Frost Trickster. 2 blue flying bird wizard. When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature and opponent controls. That creature does untap during its next untap step. It's a 2/2 limited all-star right there. Make no mistake. Yeah, obviously just gonna be very good in limited. Teachings of the Archaics. 2 blue sorcery lesson. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw 2 cards. Draw 3 cards instead if an opponent has at least four more cards in hand than you. So if they have more cards in hand than you, you draw 2 cards. So then this is just a divination if they have more cards. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw 3 cards instead if an opponent has at least 4 or more cards in hand. So this is a situational divination that will catch you back up on cards if you're behind. But if you're the blue player, you shouldn't really be behind on cards. I think this is a situational bad divination. Like, don't get me wrong, I love card draw for the mono blue Teferi's Tutelage deck. Like, I think if I could draw 3 cards off of this, that'd be pretty nice. But it's already way worse than into the story. But yeah, I think it's just a situational divination at rare for some reason. Kelpie Guide. 2 blue, 2/2 beast. Tap it to untap another target permanent you control. Hello, Nykthos. Hello, like a million other things you can be done with. Or you can tap it to tap target permanent. Activate this ability only if you control 8 or more lands. So you can tap something down. Or you can, yeah, do some tap and untap shenanigans. I wouldn't be surprised if this saw play in some janky combo decks. Some janky, like, yeah, like casual combo decks. Just being able to like untap something, like, yeah, I can see this doing some janky stuff, but nothing in constructed. Okay, we scrolled all the way to Oblivion for some reason. Okay, Quadrix Campus. Yeah, Golden Ratio sorcery for 1. Green and blue. Draw a card for each different power among creatures you control. Like, yeah, situational card draw. Like, this is like an off-color, a harder to cast divination on turn 3 if you went 1 drop, 2 drop into this. I think this card is dookie. like, it might do things in limited. Like, if you're in a board stall deck, like, you're gonna have diversity. Like, you might have, like, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop. Then it's, like, 3 mana, draw 3. Like, this will be decent and limited. But, again, you would have to look at how your deck is constructed. But other than that, pretty dookies. Okay, we got Hall of Oracles, land. Tap it for colorless. You can pay 1 and tap it to filter your mana from 1 mana of any color. You can tap it to put a plus counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery, and only if you've cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn. So I can only do it at sorcery speed, and I can only cast it if I've already cast an instant or sorcery spell. What the actual hell is this? That's, yeah, pretty trash, not gonna lie. Okay, Verdant Mastery. 5 green sorcery. You may pay 3. You may pay just 3 and a green rather than pay the spell's mana cost. So you can play this for 4 mana. Search your library for up to 4 basic land cards and reveal them. Put 1 of them onto the battlefield tapped under an opponent's control. If the 4 mana was paid, put 2 of them onto the battlefield tapped under your control, and the rest into your hand. Then draw a card, and then shuffle. I think this is totally reasonable for Commander, for sure. You can like help a buddy out. Be like, here, I'll give you a land. So and so stuck on lands. I'll make a deal with you. Like, yeah, don't attack me. For a couple turns, I'll get you the land that you need, and then I'll dump them into the other 2, and then I'll keep 1 in my hand. That's pretty nice. Right, you get 2 onto the battlefield, 1 into your hand, and then your opponent gets 1. Yeah, I can see this being pretty decent in the Commander. A lot of Commander cards in this set. This is pretty weird. Okay, we got Blood Age General, 1 red, Spirit Warrior, 2 relevant creature types. Tap it, attacking spirits get +1/+100. Okay, so like a limited card, like, yeah, Spirits is gonna be having better things to do in Standard. So moving on. What the hell is this? Another lesson. Looks like start over. 2 red, sorcery, lesson. Choose 1. Deals 1 damage to any target or destroy target artifact. Sorcery. Like, why are these all sorceries? They're all sorceries. Like, dealing an artifact is pretty big, but like, there's just cards that can do that. Like, there's just cards that can do this. You don't have, like, I guess you can tutor this out of your sideboard. That's pretty big. But the problem is also, a lot of the artifacts in Standard, looking at you, Embercleave, need to be answered at instant speed. You can't get murked by Embercleave and then be like, okay, well, I'll learn on my next turn, go get it, and then play it. You already got murked. And people like to play their Embercleave when you're about to get murked. So, just like Torn Apart, like, these shatter effects need to be instant speed for Standard, or else they're not really doing anything. Approach of the Dragon. Okay. 2 red, sorcery. Approach of the Dragon deals 3 damage to each opponent. You may exile Approach of the Dragon and 4 other cards named Approach of the Dragon from your graveyard. If you do, search your library for a dragon creature card and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. A deck can contain any number of cards called cards called Approach of the Dragons. And what? Like, this is like a 3 mana, deal 3 damage to each opponent. And then when you have 4 of them, you can exile all of them to put a dragon into play. Like, I would play this in some like freaking insanely memey pauper deck where I'm just like maybe trying to like ritual some of these out, like turbo them out, and then I don't know, find some like crazy dragon that's just gonna like eat a cast down. Yeah, this is a weird card. I don't know who this is for. Definitely a nice meme card, but yeah, I really don't know. Okay. Okay. Academic Dispute. 1 red, instant. Target creature block this turn if able. You may have that creature gain a reach until end of turn. Learn. Why? For 1 red, I'm trying to figure, like, in mono red, I can have target creature block this turn if able. And I may give it reach, so I can, like, chump block a flyer. Like, or I can like target my Bone Crusher, lose 2 life, and then it trades with a Goldspan Dragon, and I get to learn for what lesson? I don't even know. Yeah, okay. I don't know who needed this card. Okay, now we got Conspiracy Theorist. Oh, this is a 2020s card right here. Everybody's popping off with conspiracy theories right now. 1 red creature, human shaman. Whenever Conspiracy Theorist attacks, you may pay 1 and discard a card. If you do, draw a card. When you discard 1 or more non-land cards, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you may cast it until the end of this turn. So yeah, you can attack. You can pay 1 to discard a card. If I do, draw a card. And then whenever I discard a card, sorry, 1 or more non-land cards. So you can't use this to ramp. You can't discard a land and then play a land. Yeah, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you may cast it until end turn. So that's actually pretty nice. It's on a vanilla 2/2, which is pretty bad, but I do like that. Like, let's say I have a card, like, because I hate looting when I have a good card in hand, but I can like have a good card in hand, like a shock or something, discard the shock, draw another card, and then still play the shock. But it's on a vanilla 2/2. I don't know. I think it's like a fun card, but that's definitely a bulk rare if I've ever seen one. Holy. Okay, now we're approaching the finish line here. So we got Impassioned Dust Speaker, 4 red creature, Minotaur Warlock. Let's go, Minotaur hype. Whenever an Impassioned Dust Speaker attacks, you may put an instant or sorcery spell from your graveyard to the bottom of your library. If you do, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may play those cards. Pretty good and limited. Yeah, like, you get to exile the top 2 cards and you get to play those cards. That's pretty good and limited on a 3/4. But other than that, that's about it. Oh, we got a rare. We got Intervention of the Dragon. 2 red sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, exile an instant sorcerer card from your graveyard. Not hard to do. Intervention of the Dragon deals X damage to each non-dragon creature. Where X is the mana value of the exiled card. If a creature dealt this way would die this turn, exile instead. Exile Intervention of the Dragon. A Dragon tribal card. This is like a red 4 mana Crux of Fate, but the thing is though, the mana value of the card has to be high, so it does take work. Like if you want this to be like a 4 mana sweeper, you could like discard a previous Intervention of the Dragon, and then yeah, then you get like a 4 mana. You get to build your own like dragon. Storm's Wrath. So I think this could see play. Like, the thing is also though, if your goal is to make this, if your goal is to make this a Storm's Wrath, you could just play Storm's Wrath. But if all your dragons are 4/4s, then I guess you could like, you might want to jump through hoops. I would keep my eye on this card, especially if you're a dragon player. I think Pioneer had some mono red dragon decks lying around. Even modern, like I just saw some on MG Goldfish. Like nobody's actually playing them, but this could be a card for that archetype. Especially if, yeah, you're seeing with mono red. Okay, now we got Carrick Shepherd, 4 green, Elf Druid, Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, put a +1/++ counter on target creature. Fine and limited, like, it'll sit there and get big over time if you have, but after 5 mana, like, how many instant or sorcery spells do you have? Yeah, I think this may be too aggressively costed. Like, too highly costed. Sorry, rather. Like, I think by the time you play this unlimited, you're not really going to have anything else to be doing. Fractal Summoning. Sorcery Lesson. Yeah, X, Simic. Hybrid mana. Create a 0/0 blue and green fractal creature token, then put X+1 counters on it. Like, yeah, why is this worth putting in your sideboard? Like, I guess you could put this in your deck, but, like... Oh, I guess you could, like, discard... Lessons don't have to be just in your sideboard. You could put them in your deck, discard them, exile them with, like, some of these other Prismari cards, and then get them back. But that's a lot of loops to jump through for this kind of crap. I have not been impressed with Lessons so far. Not at all. Okay, now we got Ogier, Battleseer, 3 blue, red, creature, orc, shaman, haste, tap, scry 1. Fine limited card. It's going to get in there right away. Once it gets outclassed, it's blocking, and then, yeah, scrying. That's what it's doing. Pretty good. Pretty decent. Okay, what we got here? Tenured Inkcaster, 4 black, Vampire Warlock. So we got Vampire. When Tenured Inkcaster enters the battlefield, put X +1 counters on. Sorry, put a +1 counter on target creature. Whenever a creature you control the +1 counter attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This is a like game-winning bomb if you have a lot of +1/+1 counter synergies. Yeah, you could potentially like just alpha strike the opponent. Like if your creatures are already scary threats, but then they all drained, that's pretty scary. I think it's too fragile. Like 2/2 for 5 is way too fragile. 5 mana is a lot, so I don't think it's gonna see play in standard. This could see play in like some budget decks in Commander, where you're playing like some Anafenza or like some Atroxa that isn't playing Super Friends. Yeah, you can just like tack in with a million dorks, drain each opponent, and yeah, potentially kill somebody. Yeah. Okay, we got a Mythic. Ecological Appreciation. X, 2 and a green. Sorcery. Search your library and graveyard for up to 4 creature cards with different names that each have mana value X or less, and reveal them. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Shuffle the chosen cards into your graveyard and put the rest onto the battlefield. And some like spicy creature-based like toolbox deck in Commander, like this isn't too bad actually, if I'm being honest. Like I play oh my god, Woodland Bellower in my Prosh Commander deck, so that I can go get like Eternal Witness and like all my 3 mana toolbox cards. So yeah, you could go get like 4 3-drops, and yeah, your opponent chooses, and if they all have like redundant abilities, then that's nice. But again, this also depends on how your deck was constructed. And I also like that it scales up too. Like yeah, I do like that it scales up. Later in the game, you can try to get like bust out a bunch of 5/5s, like a bunch of 5 mana cards. But yeah, anyway. Okay, now we got Zimone, Quadrix, Prodigy. Yeah, what is this? Green, blue, human wizard. Pay 1, tap. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. 4, tap, draw a card. If you control 8 or more lands, draw 2 cards instead. This is nice value for limited for sure. It'll ramp you and then draw you cards in the late game. Definitely a fun limited card. It is a legend. I don't think it's going to see playing Commander. Yeah, I think a fine limited card. Okay, the Simic Manifestation Sage. This is Suan's card. LOL. So yeah, 4 hybrid mana, all Simic. When human wizard, when it enters the battlefield, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X with some counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your hand, and it's a 2/2. If green devotion mattered, you would basically just play this for the devotion. If the blue devotion mattered, you would just play this for the devotion in standard. But fortunately, don't have the best devotion payoffs except the goat, Grey Merchant of Asphodel. Okay, we got Quadrix Pledge Mage. Yeah, Merfolk Druid has Magecraft, and you get a counter on it. And it's a 2/2. Decent and limited, for sure. And that's about it. Okay, we still got some Prismari cards. Elemental Masterpiece. 5 blue, red, sorcery. Create 2 4/4 blue and red elementals. And yeah, you can discard it for 2 to make a treasure. Like, I think these cards are also going to be very good and limited. Like, you can just discard this early on if you want to ramp into something. Yeah, definitely not the best we've seen of these Prismari cards, but It'll be alright in limited. Teach by example. Hybrid. Is it instant? You may cast your next instant sorcery spell. When you cast your next instant sorcery spell, copy that spell. You may choose new targets. Have we ever seen this kind of effect in Pauper? This might be a big deal for Pauper. Right? Is this effect so normal that is that common now? In Strixhaven it is. Don't mention. Okay, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I don't know if this is going to have implications for Pauper. I imagine it's going to be put on people's lists of cards liking to see play from the set, just because, I think this might be the first of its effect. And, yeah, I like that it's hybrid mana. You can put this in, a mono blue Delver deck. You can put this in a mono red burn deck. That's exciting. That's something to keep your eye on if you're a Pauper player. Okay, Strixhaven Stadium. 3 mana for an artifact. You can tap it to add 1 generic mana. Put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, remove a point from it. And whenever a creature you control deals damage to an opponent, put a point counter on it. Then if it has 10 or more point counters on it, remove them all, and that player loses the game. Right? Yeah, so you can't choose a player to lose the game. It's like the last person who you dealt damage to loses the game. It's like a fun meme. I like the flavor. Yeah, I don't know. Is this Infect but for points? Can a mono red player just rack up 10 points and win? Maybe. I imagine MTG Goldfish would probably do some against the odds stuff with that, but other than that, I think it's just a fun flavor card. Archway Commons enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1, add 1 mana of any color. Yeah, even Pauper's moved away from this effect. We don't need it. Reflecting Golem, 3 mana artifact Golem. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell that targets only Reflecting Golem, you may pay 2 to copy it. If you do, you may choose new targets for the spell. So, sure, you can, copy things like that. Okay. Maybe that's spicy and limited. Maybe this is a spicy archetype in limited, but I doubt it. Okay, what is this? Spined Drake, Simic, Flying and Death Touch. Yeah. It'll be good and limited. It'll attack early and then defend late. Cogwork, Archivist, 6. Yeah, for an artifact creature, reach 2, tap, put a target card from a graveyard onto the bottom of its owner's library. And what? I guess this snags reanimation. I go to reanimate this, and you're just tap it, put it on the bottom. Yeah, okay. It is what it is. Okay, we got Aether Helix. 3 green, blue, sorcery. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Then return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. That is pretty nice and limited. If you could do this at instant speed, this would be broken. This would be insane. But I don't know, just being able to bounce their thing and then make them recast it next turn, but then you have something to cast on the next turn to stabilize. This could be fine. Nothing too crazy. Probably won't even see that much play in limited, but it is interesting. Okay, we got Leonin Light Scribe, 1 white, Cat Cleric, Magecraft. Whenever you cast insert sorcery or copy it, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. So yeah, we did see that 1 drop earlier. Again, if some Borosy, because I think it would have to be Boros. Yeah, if a Boros Magecraft deck comes in, I can see this thing play. Especially if you're making tokens, then this card gets really good. If you get Dragon Fodders or something like that, or a Raise the Alarm, you play your thing, you make tokens, and then those tokens can get pumped by this later when you're making more tokens. Yeah, I think it's a card to keep your eye on. It might not be good now, but it might be good eventually in standard. I think especially if we get like raise the alarm type of effects, this card can do some things. Okay, Verdant Mastery. 3 red sorcery. You may pay 2 red rather than pay the spell's mana cost. If you paid the cheaper 2 red, an opponent discards any number of cards, then draws that many cards. Oh god. Search your library for up to 3 cards, put them into your hand, and then shuffle. Then shuffle, then discard 3 cards at random. Oh my god. No. Too risky. That is like high risk, low reward. Like, no. Eureka Moment, 2 green white. Instant, draw 2 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. So Bad Growth Spiral is what I'm reading. It's an instant, so it helps, but Bad Growth Spiral. Okay, now we got Emergent Sequence. 1 green sorcery, search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. That land becomes a 0 green and blue fractal creature token that's still a land, put +1 counter on it for each land you control. Had entered the battlefield under control this turn. So yeah, you get to search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped, and then it becomes a 1/1. I think that's fine. Like, we have Cultivate and some other things, so like, and Lotus Cobra, so this might not see play in standard. This could have seen play in standard, perhaps in under different circumstances, because I think like just that 2 mana ramp is good enough. Ooh, what is this? Accomplished Alchemist, 3 green, Elf Druid, tap at 1 mana of any color. Tap at X mana of any 1 color, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. So yeah, I don't know what kind of life gain deck is going to be playing with this, but yeah, I don't know. A 2/5 is interesting. It's going to live a lot, but we just have better ramp right now, and like non-creature ramp too, like Cultivate and stuff like that. So you don't. This doesn't have to eat those don't have to eat a removal spell or anything like that. So again, maybe a couple of years ago, this would have been like a really good ramp spell, but I think we just have better things in standard right now. And then maybe some like commander deck could obviously gain a shit ton of life and make a shit ton of mana. Okay, now, yeah, last card. We got Augmenter, Pergolist, and Echoing Equation. So on its first half, you get a 2 green Troll Druid. Trample, as long as you control 8 or more lands, it gets +5/+5. And it's a 3/3, so a 3 mana 8/8. Like, people are casting ultimatums in this standard, like 7 drops and Ugins. Yeah, this is gonna be an 8/8 for 3 often enough. And then yeah, we got our Echoing Equation here. We got 3 blue sorcery. Choose target creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of it until end of turn, except those creatures aren't legendary if the chosen creature is legendary. This is another thing that's actually pretty crazy. Like, say you're playing like, I don't know, some like Temur Venture deck, and you have like your Lovestruck Beast tokens lying around, and then yeah, you play like you play your Elder Gargaroth or your Goldspan Dragon. Turning all of your creatures into an Elder Gargaroth and then attacking is insane. Like, yeah, like that's actually insane. So this is actually sneaky. Like, I can see this actually seeing play in standard. I think the first half is actually a threat. I think it's something that people could actually reasonably play. And then the Echoing Equation is like, that's like a scary effect. Like, that is a very scary effect. So yeah, I would not be surprised if that ended up seeing play. But yeah, that's gonna do it for today's spoiler review. Let us know in the comments on YouTube what cards you're most excited for. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Come stop by the website, read some of our articles. This is where like I map out my thought process. Like, I do most of my like deck text here and like all that stuff. Like the No Rares Needed series for standard and arena and all that stuff. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. And yeah, thank you for joining the Fellowship. See you guys next time. Peace.